Hi, and welcome to the show. We are here with Dr. Terry Orbach, better known as the Love Doctor. She is nationally known as a research scientist at the Institute for Social Research at the University of Michigan, a sociologist and an Oakland University sociology professor. Dr. Orbach has studied the marriage and divorce and romance and relationship patterns of thousands of individuals nationwide, including Metro Detroiters, for over 20 years. She is the author of 5 books, including 5 Simple Steps to Take Your Marriage from Good to Great and Finding Love Again, 6 Simple Steps to a New and Happy Relationship. Dr. Orbach has been featured in such publications as the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, U.S. Today, Cosmo, and Time Magazine, and has appeared on The Today Show, The Katie Couric Show, ESPN, and CNN. She writes articles at Huffington Post, Psychology Today, and other national outlets, and her relationship segments are aired on Fox 2 News, Morning News. She truly is one of this country's most trusted relationship experts. Hi, Dr. Orbach. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome. First, tell our viewers about your landmark study called the Early Years of Marriage Project.
Well, the Early Years of Marriage Project is a wonderful study. It's funded by the National Institutes of Health, and it's been following the same 373 couples now for over 28 years. All of the couples got married in 1986, and there was a 46% divorce rate. But once couples got divorced, we continue to follow the individuals. So I like to say now that I've been following 746 individuals, about half of whom are still married to one another, and a half of whom are no longer married to one another. Wonderful study. I was interested in what keeps people together and happy, and what breaks couples apart. And if couples divorce, what are the factors that impact how they manage and cope and adjust to divorce? And what are the things that influence whether or not they find love again?
Finding love again. So when you mention finding love again, what do you think is a good sign to let someone know that it's time, that it's actually time to find love again? And when I say that, I mean after a breakup, after a death, after a divorce. How much time should a person take out for themselves before they just go off and get into another romantic relationship?
Well, I think the time that you need to wait depends on the individual. So we know, studies show, along with my own research, that there is no predetermined time that you need to wait. So we hear a lot about you should wait 6 months, a month for every year you've been together. There is no predetermined set time that you need to wait. I think you need to ask yourself 2 questions in order to determine whether or not you're ready to find new love again. The first is, are you ready to really care and love another person again? And for many people, that means that they need to let go of that emotional baggage that they've been holding on, whether it's positive or negative, toward that ex or former partner. So if you really strongly are angry, or you're still pining away, you want that person back in your life, that means you're not ready to care and love for another person again. In fact, in my study, the people who found love again said, I don't feel anything toward my ex.
Wow.
The second question, yeah, well, that's a wow, isn't it? The second question that I think you need to ask yourself in order to determine whether or not you're ready is, are you ready to trust again? And trust means that this person you know will not hurt or deceive you, and you feel that someone else is going to have your best interests at heart. And when we trust, we reveal personal information about ourselves.
Exactly. And
so
along
if you're
with
not
the trust is the attachment. You have that attachment, and then that attachment leads to the trust. And it just goes on. It's like a it snowballs. So it just goes on and on and on and on. Okay.
So I think those are the 2 questions. Are you ready to care and love for another person? Have you let go of the past? And second, are you ready to trust again?
And how long would you say that it takes a person to, just let go of the past? And what are some things that you suggest that a person do in order to, because a lot of people want to let go of the past, but they just don't know how.
It's really hard, Patrice, for me to say, like, how long should you wait or how long does it take? Because people are so different. For some people, they emotionally separate from another person while they're already in the relationship. So that when they physically separate from one another or don't call each other partners anymore, they're way ready to find love again. And for other people, it can take months or years. Now, how do you let go of the past? One of the things I encourage people to do that helped with many of the divorced individuals in my study is writing a letter to your former partner, but don't send the letter. So get everything down on a piece of paper. You know, what are you feeling now? What do you think about, ending the relationship? What are you worried about for the future? How has this person affected you? Pretend, so to speak, that you're getting everything out on the paper so that this ex will hear or read it, but don't send the letter. The letter really is an exercise for you to purge all of your feelings, whether they be positive or negative, for this former partner. Second thing I encourage people do is to actually talk to friends and family members. Typically, what we find is that your friends and family members knew why the relationship wouldn't work. You, on the other hand, were all involved and into the relationship. But your friends, if you go talk to them, will tell you the many things that didn't work, that you were really opposites, and we know that similarity in key life values is what keeps people together in long-term relationships. So your friends probably knew, your family members probably knew that you were opposite in some really important things, like the importance of religion, the importance of family, or your approach to money, but you didn't see it because you were all wrapped up in the throes of that relationship. And I'll just mention one more. The other thing I recommend people do is to exercise or do something that gets your adrenaline up, because what we find is that when you exercise, whether it be a hike or aerobics or weightlifting or cross-country skiing, any kind of exercise, even walking, your heart rate goes up, your adrenaline goes up, and you're able to sort of, again, purge some of the negativity. So those are three things. I talk a lot about strategies to let go of the past in my book, Finding Love Again, 6 Simple Steps to a New and Happy Relationship.
Let's talk a little bit about the books. I know that you've written several books. What's the name of all of them?
Well, first popular self-help book is called 5 Simple Steps to Take Your Marriage from Good to Great. This book is all about the happily married couples. Now, I've been following those same couples for almost 28 years now. So the book is on those people who stay together and are happy. What are they doing right, or what are they doing that has kept them together for so long and happy? The second book, Finding Love Again, 6 Simple Steps to a New and Happy Relationship, is all on the divorced individuals, how they managed, coped, what they said they would do differently in their first marriage or their prior marriage, and what did they do to find love again. So those are the 2 self-help books that I think your audience would love to read.
Oh, okay. Now, you speak about the project where you have followed the same 373 married couples for almost 3 decades.
Correct.
That's really amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing.
It's actually the longest running study of couples in the United States.
Did all these couples stay together?
No.
Okay.
They didn't.
How many actually stayed together?
Well, 46% divorced.
Okay.
And the national average, or the divorce rate in the United States, is about 45%. And when it's almost the national average. And when we look at the couples in my study, I call them my couples.
Okay.
When I look at my couples, they look exactly like married couples in the United States. So I compared them to census data, and there were no differences. So the findings from my study are really representative of first married couples in the United States.
Okay. What would you say in regards to the books that you've written on relationships? What would you say that makes your book so unique and different from all of the other millions of books out there?
Yeah, there's hundreds, almost millions, but I think hundreds.
Like,
it's a really good question.
Many, it's a lot.
There are a lot. Most of the other self-help relationship books base their advice on either clients that the author has worked with in his or her practice, or on their own personal experiences. So someone has been married for X number of years or has gotten divorced, and their advice is based on that. My books are based on that research study. So they're based on science. They're not my personal opinion, nor are they my personal experiences, nor are they based on my clients in counseling, because I'm also a marriage and family therapist. So this is all on the study. Good, hardcore facts on what keeps relationships together and what breaks them apart.
Okay, let's just jump the subject a little bit. How do you distinguish between love and lust early on in a romantic relationship? How do you distinguish between the two?
Good question. Well, lust is that wonderful feeling at the beginning of a relationship where you feel that adrenaline rush like we were talking about, where you're almost thinking 24/7 about that other person. Lust is fueled by the sex hormones in our body. So it's really that we have sex on the brain, so to speak. I know. Now, love, on the other hand, is fueled by oxytocin, which is a different hormone altogether, which is that cuddle hormone, emotional bonding.
From nature.
Yes, exactly. And I think there are 4 signals to show us that we're loving somebody rather than lusting after them. The first you can ask yourself is, do you want to show off this person to your friends and family? Do you want your friends and family to like this person? I call this connection. So that you want that person to connect with the important people in your life, and you want the important people in your life to like this person. If you want to do that, that's one signal that actually it's love and not lust. The second signal is that you want to look at your language. When someone asks you, Patrice, what did you do last weekend? Are you saying, I went out to the movies, I went to dinner, I stayed in, I went out? They're all I statements. Or are you saying, we went to dinner, we went to a movie, or we went out? When couples feel love toward each other, they think of themselves as a team. And part of that is shown or expressed through our language. So the more we statements you use, the more you are in love, the closer you are.
Wow.
The third question, or the third signal,
Okay.
is what I call interdependence. It means that we influence each other. So let's say I get a job in a different city. Do I accept the job, or do I go and talk to my partner? Because what they think is important to my decision. Or let's say I have a medical scare, or I lose my job, or I fail an exam at the university.
Okay.
Do I want to go to my partner and tell them about what happened? Do I want their support? Or do I want to go tell my friends, or do I want to tell no one? The degree to which I want to involve my partner in the goods and bads of my life and help me make decisions about my life, the more love.
Good answer.
So I think those are 3 important signals to determine whether or not you are lusting after someone or loving someone. Now, I should also say, Patrice, that many people ask me, they're in a long-term relationship, can you add lust that lustful desire in a long-term relationship? Let's say you've been with someone 10, 20, even 50 years. The answer is absolutely yes. Lust or passionate love is fueled by newness, and it's fueled by mystery. So if you add something new into your long-term relationship, that can be a new restaurant, a new vacation spot. You go salsa dancing for the first time ever, the two of you. Or you add a little mystery. Use the element of surprise. I took my husband on a treasure hunt around the city, and he had no idea what was happening.
And you should be doing this, well, I think, you should be doing this as soon as you sense, as soon as you feel that the relationship is getting stale, or that the relationship is getting old, or that it's beginning to just be a pattern, or this is starting to feel like, okay, this is
same
just
old,
same old thing. Is, you know, so okay, that's great. And then you just catch it and you go into something else.
You add something new, or you add something mysterious or different. I call that a relationship rut, when people get bored. And one of the really important findings from my study, this long-term study, is that boredom eats away at happiness. It not only eats away at the passionate love and the arousal and the excitement, but it eats away at the happiness. When people feel bored, like you said, they're less happy. And when you're less happy and bored, you're less likely to stay together over time.
Or you're less likely to go out to look for something else new in another person when your partner can provide it by just doing just what you said to do. Because I think that both partners feel that. May not feel it at the same time, but I believe that both partners feel that at some time throughout the relationship, that this is starting to get a little stale.
Right, it's starting to get stale. Another reason why people might seek out others from your partner, or who are, might be different from your partner, is because you don't feel like you're being noticed or affirmed. And that was another significant factor in keeping people together, having a successful relationship over time. The degree to which my partner makes me feel loved and noticed and valued. I call that affective affirmation. And when your partner gives you more affective affirmation, you stay. And that was even more significant for men, by the way. So when men did not feel affirmed by their female partners, they're less happy and less likely to stay in the relationship and more likely to try to get it elsewhere. And what I found is that it doesn't take these large, grandiose gestures to add the excitement, get out of that boredom or relationship rut, or affirm one another. It's really small, simple changes. I like to say that keeping a relationship together is not hard work. It is consistent work. So that means you might say to your partner once a day, I love you. And that would be affective affirmation. You give them a hug.
What about text? People are so into.
Yeah. I'm okay with texts, Patrice. I think anyway, at least in terms of affective affirmation, it should not be the only way that you communicate with your partner. But if that's the way you want to give them affirmation, tell them that you are thinking about them, noticing them, caring about them. I even say, all you need to say is, you're the best whatever. You're the best husband, you're the best mother, you're my best friend. All of those simple texts or face-to-face phrases really say to someone, I see you, I care about you, I notice you, and we all want to be noticed.
Validated.
We all want to be validated.
Validation. Great. So what would you say would be the best way to, so to speak, hook up with someone? A lot of people are doing a lot of online dating these days. They're going to the computer to find love. What would you have to say about that? Is that a good way? Is that a healthy way? Or
I do think it's a good way. I'm a huge advocate of online dating. There are 3 best ways to find love again. First really is through online dating. We know, in general, studies show that 1 out of 6 couples find each other or met each other online. Now you have to be safe and use safe skills, meaning that you meet in a neutral place. If you meet, you don't give out personal information online. You never give money to someone online. You meet in a neutral, as I said, and safe spot. You wait a period of time, let's say a week, and where you're communicating or chatting online, and then you communicate on telephone, and then you meet face to face. We know that relationships develop faster online, so you need to slow the process down. So that as long as you take safety into account, I think it is a really safe, positive way. Think about it. You can, quote, date several people at once. You can do it at any time of the day or night. You can do it in your pajamas at home. You can ask your friend to help you and look at profiles, help you with your profile. You can get technical help if you feel that you aren't computer savvy and you need some help. So I think it's a really great way to get your feet wet if you haven't dated for a long time, if you're shy, you're reserved, or you're not at a college campus and 18 to 21. So it's a great way. The second best way to find love again is what I call join an activity that meets regularly.
Okay.
So it can be a religious group, a volleyball team, a wine appreciation book club, any activity that meets regularly. It's called the MERE, M-E-R-E, exposure effect. And that says that mere contact with someone increases liking between two people. You don't even have to talk, actually. So as long as you do the same thing regularly, you're much more likely to meet that person and develop positive feelings for that person. So if you go to Starbucks every Wednesday, be sure you go at the same time and sit in the same spot. And the third way, blind dates. And I know nobody likes blind dates, but they are very successful.
Okay. Okay. The only thing that I would have probably a problem with, now I'll speak for me, is that when you're texting or when you're on a computer, it's kind of like you kind of just have this, you have the approach of this imaginary person that you would like to be. And so when you're not in front of the actual person, then you're just sitting there and you're texting and you know you're letting out all these feelings and emotion, and it's different. Because if I meet you face to face, then I'm able to see you. I'm able to see your body gestures. I'm able to look you in your eye. I'm able to see, can you look me straight in the eye? I'm able to go on a lot of things, through my senses.
Absolutely.
And so is the other person.
Right.
Able to use our five senses because we're able to actually be one-on-one with that person. But when you're on the computer and you're texting,
Well, I think you're absolutely right, Patrice. I mean, the best way to meet somebody, the best way to communicate with someone, the best way to resolve conflict is face-to-face. You can see their nonverbal communication, and you can see their verbal communication. And actually, we know studies show that if there's a discrepancy between nonverbal and verbal, the truth lies in the nonverbal. So the truth lies in the body, gestures, the facial expression, the paralanguage, how my voice, pitch, and rhythm goes.
Yes.
So absolutely, that is the best way to understand and know someone. However, I also think there are many positive effects of social media, of texting and cell phones, and the internet on relationships. First of all, many people work different shifts, and many people work many hours during the day. It doesn't hurt to communicate with someone during the day via text or cell phone because it keeps you connected.
Right.
Also, we have long-distance relationships where people don't see one another, don't have the money to spend and travel. And we know then that Skype and texting and the internet are great ways to strengthen and keep that bond together.
It is. It is.
I know also parents with children. I know I text my kids because they don't like to talk on the phone. So I've learned to text. Now, if I didn't text and I didn't do social media, I wouldn't be able to communicate with them as much. My daughter's at college. I would barely be able to communicate except when she came home. So I think, yes, best method, face-to-face, but many relationships there are positive effects on relationships for all these other mechanisms.
Okay. And another thing I suggest too, and I always say this, and I found this to be so true in the past, never tell a guy or a female what you like. Never do that. Never tell them what you like. Some people will say, well, what is it that in a man that you like? Or what is it that in a woman that you like? No. That's the mystery. You're supposed to know what to do. That's the loving and kind thing to do. Because if I tell you what I like, or if a man tell you what he likes, then that's kind of like you have nothing to work with, because they can do all the things that you like, and then after they get you hooked, then you really get to see the real true them. And they were only doing everything that you like, because guess why? You told them what you liked.
Well, in the throes of passion at the beginning of a relationship, we rarely see our partner for who they really are, because we've got all of that passionate lust going through our bodies. We don't see our partner for who they are. We glorify, we idealize them. So I encourage people to wait at least 9 to 12 months before you make a big commitment. So that passionate love has turned into what I call companionate love, and companionate love is a love of support and friendship.
Okay, great. Finally, let's talk about how viewers can take the next step if they want to read more about your work, so to speak. Do you have a website?
I do. I have a website. It's called Dr. Terry, DrTerri, thelovedoctor.com. So that's my Love Doctor website. I'm also a professor of sociology at Oakland University. So my office is in Varner Hall, and I teach classes in interpersonal relationships, human sexuality, and social psychology at Oakland University.
Now, are you married yourself?
I am married for
How long?
22 years.
Wow, congratulations. Congratulations.
I know.
Also, here you have a show.
Yes, I have a show. It's a PBS, National Public television show. It's called Secrets from the Love Doctor. And actually, the PBS program was sponsored by Oakland University.
Wow. Isn't Oakland great?
Yes, I love Oakland. I've been teaching there for 17 years.
Wow, great. This is my junior year. I love Oakland University.
I do too. I do too.
Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You have such a gentle spirit. Really,
Oh,
you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.